pictures speak 1,000 words. Both of these sayings address nonverbal communication. Good morning, I'm Shelley Brandt.
James Fairley.
Evelani Walton.
And Sonia Kim.
Our field of study was nonverbal communication in organizations. The topic was very broad, considering wherever two people speak, there is verbal and nonverbal communication. Plus, organizations come in many shapes and sizes. Ultimately, we decided to focus on two aspects of nonverbal communication in organizations. First, Sonia and Eva will explain different types of nonverbal communication. Second, James and I will give advice on how to use nonverbal communication to send the right message in an interview.
Nonverbal communication can be classified into two specific groups, intentional and unintentional nonverbal communication. Intentional nonverbal communication is communication that is done purposefully to communicate with another individual. An example of this is a handshake. Unintentional communication is communication that happens as a response to something in your surroundings. An example of this is yawning as a response to seeing someone else yawn. There are many different types of nonverbals. The type of nonverbal communication that I will be covering is kinesics. Kinesics is communication through body language, facial expressions, and gestures. The study of kinesics through facial expressions focuses on the way that individuals communicate in response to another's perceived emotion. Your facial expressions can be intentional. An example of this would be showing anger in your facial expressions so that someone else knows you're angry. Kinesics through body language and posture focuses on the way that you communicate non-verbally through arm crossing, leg crossing, open body postures, or closed body postures. In an organization, people can read from your body language whether you are open to their ideas or uninterested through the way that you have positioned yourself. Oculesis is a subcategory of kinesics that focuses on nonverbal communication through the eyes. Oculesics is studied through eye movement, eye behavior, and gaze. An example of this, the use of oculesics, is to read people's emotions through eye contact.
Proxemics. Proxemics is the study of distance between two or more individuals and how far apart they are. On the slide, you can see the first picture, the two individuals are more distant. We can automatically assume that they are arguing or unhappy. The second picture, the two individuals are closer, and because they are both smiling, we can assume that they are having a great conversation. Haptics is the study of touch where you can communicate affection, familiarity, sympathy, and other emotions. Objectives is the study of objects, like the way people dress, for example, appearance, choice in clothing, hairstyles, etc. Chronemics is a study of time and communication. Example, punctuality, willingness to wait can tell a person's personality.
First impressions in an interview are almost all nonverbal. As soon as you walk into the room, you're being assessed. Your clothing can show that you're professional and serious about the work. Wear something unique that makes you stand out, but still conservative. Never wear purple to an interview. Statistics show that you'll be less likely to get the job. One of the most important parts of the interview is the handshake. Many studies have been done exploring the right technique and what the handshake says about you. Make sure you shake firmly but without injuring or intimidating the interviewer. This shows confidence. You can also show confidence in your stance. Be sure to face the interviewer and lean in slightly to show your interest. When interviewing, you should remember that the interviewer is looking at several other people with the same qualifications as you. Make yourself stand out by holding yourself with confidence. They want to see that you can handle yourself under stress so that you won't fall apart if they do give you the job. Make eye contact. This shows that you are engaged in the conversation and actually care what the interviewer is saying. And finally, smile. In our culture, it is important to be friendly and approachable. This could be the difference between you and the next guy.
Having the right posture when entering a room for an interview and while a person is being interviewed is one example of a form of nonverbal communication that is important for people to remember. If a person enters a room slouching or with any kind of bad posture, the employer might think that the person is not enthusiastic, professional, or is not confident in him or herself. The best handshake is firm, but not crushingly so. A weak handshake may be another negative display of an individual's confidence and attitude. Having bad eye contact or having a negative facial expression during an interview can both be detrimental to the outcome of an interview for a person hoping to be hired. Not smiling enough or not having a cheerful demeanor will also negatively affect a person's chance of being hired because they will not seem enthusiastic about the job or will appear non-personable. Overall, it is worth it for every person to reflect on how they communicate non-verbally, especially when in preparation for an interview, as it could greatly influence their chance of being hired as